Madam Speaker, I am pleased to rise today to support the budget presented by the Honourable Prime Minister. The budget has comprehensively addressed many facets of the economic and social landscape, and I am pleased to make my contribution. Over the last years, I have been afforded the opportunity to lead the efforts of the growing Ministry of Tourism, and I'm happy to report on its progress today. A few, I say, persons may have doubted the Prime Minister's wisdom in appointing me as a senator, but I'm sure after today's presentation, many persons will change their mind. Madam Speaker, giving back is one of the most important things a man or woman can do. And this is why I stand here again today to support and to represent my beautiful country of Dominica. Madam Speaker, I sat and I listened to the Prime Minister's speech attentively. What struck me was the complete lack of interest by the opposition members, who are here not to represent themselves, but to represent the interests of the people who they are supposed to serve. The aim of the income tax reduction will obviously reduce the amount of taxes paid by a significant amount of individuals in Dominica, thus allowing them to use those monies for important things. But I say to the persons who are going to benefit from the tax reduction, let us not use those monies for things that are not important. Let us use them for the important things in lives, and I'd even suggest that they save those funds. But it was interesting seeing the expression on the face of members of the opposition. When these positive things are being said, they actually have no facial expression whatsoever. And as I said before, you are representing the people, so positive things for the people you should be happy for. Like one of the other members said, one of the incentives would be the funding of medication for persons suffering from cancer. Many of us who sit down in this parliament today must have persons who have suffered from cancer, who are suffering from cancer, and who have also passed away as a result of cancer. This initiative will make it a lot easier on them and also extend most persons' lives. So again, when these positive things are being said, one cannot just sit down then because it's not directly impacting you or benefiting you that you're not going to be happy for the people of Dominica. The same can be said for the support to families and especially parents who have children who have learning disabilities. As the Prime Minister said, and as we are all aware, many times the parents, one of the parents, have to make a sacrifice to stay home and take care of these children. So this initiative will touch the lives of so many people, so many individuals, allow them to take care of themselves, because many times the parents are very scared that the day that I pass, what is going to happen to my child? Will they be educated to take care of themselves? And this initiative will do exactly that. Madam Speaker, I fully support the incentive to the private homeowners, to the commercial property owners in the city of Roseau and also the city of Portsmouth, as we begin the process of improving and beautifying the cities of Roseau and Portsmouth. Obviously, if the government does its part in terms of making the streets, the reduction of all the telephone wires in the air, making sure the gutters are all covered, we also want our houses to look a lot more beautiful. So this incentive will also allow individuals to take advantage of that and to be able to better afford these necessary changes. With regard to the small business initiative, Madam Speaker, I am just amazed that so much is being done for the potential entrepreneurs and those who are already in business. When I started business back in the day, you needed to find every single form of cash yourself. And we all knew how difficult at times it was to get monies from the bank. I myself vividly remember, and even though persons may think that I have been fed with a silver or a golden spoon, I remember when I went to the bank to get a loan for one of my businesses, which was similar to what the bank was actually doing. The bank took over 5 months to approve my loan. Okay, so these initiatives that the government has put in place allows persons who want to start their business, individuals who want to expand on their business, to have grants. And this new initiative will also allow persons at a slightly larger level to be able to access funds from the bank at reduced rates. Somehow I wish at some point I'll go back into the private sector and be able to capitalize. But I say to the persons listening out there, capitalize on the opportunities that are in front of you. They may not last forever, but if you can capitalize on them, you can make your businesses better, you can take care of your family and friends. During my presentation, I will highlight the accomplishments during the past financial year for the period 2016-2017, and also speak of what we plan to do for the new period 2017-2018. Sorry, Madam Speaker. But in the meantime, I want to congratulate you and the Speaker of the House for upgrading the power sockets. Obviously, the persons who are here are definitely in tune with technology, and I was able to plug in my devices very easy. So I see the members of the opposition are not even aware of that, so you can look right now. You don't have to plug in the sockets anymore.
I can't take credit for that. That's Mr. James and Mr. Labad's doing. Okay? I'm not computer savvy at all.
Madam Speaker, Dominica has positioned itself as the premier ecotourism destination in the region, and our product development and marketing strategies have reflected this vision. We are now in the process of doing our new rebranding. And one of the things that we are saying, based on the feedback from many of the stakeholders, is that in terms of Dominica, unlike the other islands of the Caribbean, people don't come to visit resorts built by man in Dominica. They come to experience an island built by nature, covered in unspoiled natural wonders and populated with a culture that finds joy in the purity of life. This is basically what Dominica is. Dominica is a beautiful place where persons come to enjoy nature and to experience the culture of our friendly people. Our mission, therefore, in the Ministry of Tourism is to create the enabling environment for our stakeholders so that they can benefit and employ as many persons as possible. Madam Speaker, we are also guided by the Tourism Master Plan. So many times when persons think we're just doing things haphazardly, we have a Tourism Master Plan which we follow and ensure that we get the results that we're trying to do. The Master Plan also identifies priority areas so that, and elaborates in terms of infrastructure, and gives us a proper vision in terms of how we move forward. Madam Speaker, I will first start with some statistics from the sector. I listened to the leader of the opposition, and clearly no research has been done with regards to what is happening in tourism. I hope that my learned friend and Senator Joseph Isaac will hopefully would have done some more research so that he doesn't make the mistakes of his leader and make ridiculous statements such as tourism the numbers for tourism has reduced by 20%. Obviously, I'm not sure what calculator he was using. But the fiscal period 2016 to June 2017 was a tale of two halves. July to December would have been we normally compare against Tropical Storm Erica. And the second half was compared to the recovery process. While arrivals for July 2016 declined to while arrivals during July 2016 declined to 8,816 from 9,002 to 2015, overall arrivals for the quarter actually increased. Despite a positive growth over 2015, the July period to September 2016, we still have not recovered as we would like to. However, with the return of the World Creole Music Festival, we have seen definite positive results, and it also shows how important this period is. Stay-over arrivals during October increased by 118% to 10,094 over 2015. For the period November and December, we continue to see positive growth. But very importantly, we're all aware that the first couple of months after Tropical Storm Erica, we had practically nothing. But even in 2016, although everything seemed fine, we had significant reductions in air access up to June 2016. So we still had our challenges, but despite all of that, we were very smart in terms of what we were doing and did our best to increase our numbers. However, the first 5 months of 2017, the preliminary reports show that we have an increase of 14.3% in stay-over arrivals from 34,363 from 30,074 in 2016. So unlike what others may want to make you believe, we are moving forward in the right direction, we are gaining momentum, and we are not moving backwards. The arrivals for this period also surpassed the previous 5-month high in 2014 by 1.6%. So despite all of the challenges, despite a Tropical Storm Erica, we were able to gain back that momentum that we had lost. The strongest performing source market was France, with increases of over 46%. Arrivals from the United Kingdom also grew by 28.8%. Arrivals from Germany also increased. Even arrivals from the Caribbean also increased. So one of the things that we also did is that we've had some of the, what we call our source market reps, who are supposed to represent us. And we were not satisfied with the results that we were getting. And at that point we said, you know something, if we continue doing the same thing and expecting different results, then we're going to get the same results. So as a result of that, we changed all of them. And because we've been pointed with them and explained all that to them, this is why today we are getting these positive results. Arrivals from the USA also increased for the first 5 months. Madam Speaker, cruise arrivals in 2016, we received 163 vessels. These vessels brought 277,131 passengers. Unfortunately, compared to the previous year, this was equal, this resulted in a reduction of 1.6%. But although the opposition might be happy that we had this minimal reduction, I am not happy we've had any reduction in whatsoever. Why? Because any form of reduction means less money for the country, less money for the people, less economic activity. However, as a prudent department responsible for tourism, we look at all of the issues affecting tourism and affecting the cruise business, and have done so much over the last 2 years to ensure that we get the right number of ships. Actually, on Monday, we have a delegation from the Florida Cruise Caribbean Association coming to Dominica to speak with all of our stakeholders so that they can understand clearly what we are doing right, what we are doing wrong, and how we continue and how we have to move forward. But very importantly, I'm happy to state that based on all of what we've been doing, I just received the updated cruise schedule for the period 2017-2018. But obviously, that number changes as we move along, as some ships come on, some ships come off. But as of today, Madam Speaker, as compared to 164 free cruise calls for the previous year. This year, we're expecting 219 cruise calls. As compared to 277,000 passengers, 131. Should I speak slower? Yes. In terms of the expected arrivals, it's 414,256. You can well imagine this is a significant increase in the number of persons coming to our beautiful shore. We have to ensure that we do our best to ensure that the experience is the best one, because the cruise can be seen as what we call a familiarization trip. Someone comes to Dominica for 8 hours. They get to see a little bit. They get to sample Dominica. But guess what? If we do a fantastic job in making sure the customer is happy, making sure that they have a fantastic time, we are hoping that they will come back another time, but as a stayover visitor as compared to a cruise visitor. And why do we want them to come back as a stayover? A cruise visitor spends on average $66 US when they come to Dominica, as compared to the stayover visitor who spends almost 400 US a day. So again, our goal is to have as many persons come to Dominica and spend as much money in our beautiful island so that all of us have jobs and we can take care of our family. I also want to mention to all of the persons who are seeing this potential opportunity, the increase in our numbers, do not let these opportunities pass you by. We're going to have 100,000 more persons on our shores. Not all of them go on tours. Some of them walk around the city. There's so many little things that we can do. So much value added. Normally we take a coconut and we just cut it. Why not chill the coconut? Why not have a straw in it? Why not have a little tent so at least the persons are not in the sun? All of these things can add value. So as opposed to selling the coconut for $1, $2, you could now sell the coconut for $5. And you can well imagine how many persons you could sell to and the potential income. And we have the small business grants again, which would allow you to start those businesses. Whereas back in the day, many persons could not start the businesses because they didn't have the funding. They didn't have someone to guarantee the loan, or they didn't have anybody who they could trust to give them the money to start the businesses. In terms of visitor expenditure, the Central Statistics Office has indicated that the output in the hotel and restaurant sector and visitor sector, as the Prime Minister said, declined. However, in looking at the visitor trend in 2015 to 2016, particularly following Tropical Storm Erica, you can well imagine during that time, the type of individuals who came to Dominica many of them came for a slightly different reason. Many of them came as consultants into Dominica, therefore the spend was different. However, we continue to move things in the right direction. As we said, bringing back the World Creole Music Festival also helps us to increase back our spend. But things in the market are changing. Many persons are now staying at private residences because many times persons who come to Dominica, they have such a fantastic time, and they've come so many times, they begin to make friends and they begin to stay with other persons. With the advent of the internet, you have Airbnb, you have bookings.com. So many of these companies are actually competition to the hotels. So we have to also ensure that our hotels are top standard and we're providing the best possible service. So just for some statistics, we have, if you look at bookings.com, Airbnb, and all of these other providers, including our regular hotels, you have over 213 providers of accommodations. 80 of those accommodation providers are registered with the Discover Dominica Authority, and 21 of them are actually certified. So again, we have to ensure that we assist our existing hotels to come up to standard, because if you are at the standard, you can charge more. The persons are going to have a much better experience when they come to your properties. One of the other companies that we are part of, the It's called the Smith Travel Research Incorporation, who provides a destination report and normally talks about the occupancy rates of hotels. So many persons will say, well, I want to see more people come to Dominica. But for our hotels, what is truly important is the occupancy rate. The more people you have in your hotel overall over the annual period, it obviously means that you are making more money. So there are 365 days in a year. If you have persons only for a quarter of that, it means that your occupancy rate is 25%. And it is said many times, for a hotel to be profitable, you need an occupancy rate of 40% and up. So the report from the Smith Travel Research clearly shows that for the period July 2014 to 2015, the occupancy rate in Dominica was 50%. For July 2015 to June 2016, the occupancy rate was 50.3%. But as I was saying, we've been making some major changes with our source markets. We're being more focused in terms of our marketing, in terms of the awareness, making persons more aware of Dominica. So for the period July 2016 to June 2017, that's 1 year, the occupancy rate recorded is actually 55.5%. So ladies and gentlemen, the occupancy rate in Dominica has actually increased. But very importantly, if you take that same report and you look at the great results that, as I mentioned before, that we had for January to June for 2017, where we've seen some of our largest and best numbers, the occupancy rate from the Smith Travel Research Company shows for the first 6 months, we have had the highest occupancy rates ever in the history of Dominica at 61.2%. Ladies and gentlemen, your government is working smart for you. So many persons try to shift certain things, but that is the main indicator. But however, I would say, as I said before, you have to have a property operating at the best possible standards. Your staff have to provide the best possible service and the experience, not on 1 day or 2 days, every single day. If we are able to do that, it then allows you to enjoy better occupancy rates. So, Madam Speaker, this clearly shows the numbers are increasing. The hotels are going to be in a position, or are getting in a better position to earn more income. But I want to advise them, let us use the funds that have been provided by the Citizen by Investment Program through the government of Dominica to allow many of those properties who do not meet the international standards to upgrade and take those opportunities. Madam Speaker, I listened to the leader of the opposition who talks about the creation of employment. One who does not know him would assume that he truly cares about job creation. But however, many of us would have listened to the owner of Jungle Bay, who clearly articulated that after the storm he was distraught. And he saw the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister, the Honourable Prime Minister, gave him the confidence that whatever the government of Dominica could do or would be able to, they would assist in the rebuilding of that hotel. Unfortunately, the same leader did not share the same sentiments. He was actually discouraged. Can you imagine if he had listened to the advice of the opposition leader? The 67 young, hard-working construction workers who are now employed at Soufriere would not have a job. They would not be able to take care of their families. So clearly, he does not truly care about the employment of people. Madam Speaker, with regards to our projections, we will not stop here. We will continue working hard. The Tourism Master Plan, with regards to the medium-term growth strategy, suggests increase in arrivals of 5%. at least for the first 6 months, we have surpassed that. And our role is to continue moving forward in that direction. So based on an annual target growth of 5% for the period 2017-2018, we're looking to increase arrivals to 82,204, but I will still push my team to try to get at least 85,000 visitors to our shores. Our expectation is that the number of visitors coming in paid accommodations will increase, giving rise to increased visitor expenditure to our people in Dominica. Madam Speaker, in terms of our achievements for the period 2016-2017, we have done so much. If I remember correctly, in terms of there's a terminology that I was not used to it in terms of the government system, in terms of our implementation plan. Many times persons say, hey, the government persons are not working efficiently. But I can say to you, in the Ministry of Tourism, we are serious about the well-being of our stakeholders. Our role, as I said, is to create an environment so that they can all benefit. I think at this stage, our implementation rate should be about 99%. We have been able to accomplish all of the goals that we had. In terms of tourism site enhancement, our major ecotourism sites such as Trafalgar Falls, Emerald Pool, Midland Falls, Freshwater Lake Syndicate, Watton-Waven, Sulphur Towers, Sulphur Springs, Tito Gorge continues to attract a large number of visitors. Many of our ecotourism sites also traverse the White Kubuli National Trail, and we have to give support to that. The projects that we did benefited many persons: contractors, residents, hikers, visitors, users of sites, local vendors, tour operators, taxi drivers, lifeguards, tour operators, tour guides, business owners. So as you can see, tourism impacts so many persons in the community, be it directly or indirectly. So again, this clearly shows the reach of tourism touching many lives in the communities. And in terms of our tourism enhancement sites, over 60 persons were employed, and the cost of these various projects amounted to $594,732. And that was spent on the production of brochures to improve visitor experience, where we produced over 13,000 brochures for our various different communities so that persons can go to those communities and spend money in those communities. The rehabilitation works at the Freshwater Lake, the Midland Falls, at Syndicate, at Trafalgar Falls reception, the upgrade of Trafalgar Falls washroom. One of the things sometimes people don't take much attention to washroom, but it's important that when your visitors come to your island, they want to have a washroom that they are used to. If not, just imagine a visitor coming to Roseau and they're not happy with the washroom. They're going to go back. So we have started a process of upgrading all of our washrooms. And I dare say to you, go to the Trafalgar Falls, to the Trafalgar Reception Center, and the same setup, the same type of faucets that you see in the United States, you'll see exactly the same thing at the Trafalgar Falls sites. If your hands are dirty, you don't have to touch the taps. You have the motion sensors. The same thing for the toilets. So we are moving in the right direction. And not only that, too, it helps to reduce the waste of water. We've upgraded the Trafalgar Falls Reception and Interpretation Center. We've done guardrails and a vendor storeroom at the new, and also a new change room at the Tito Gorge site. We've done work at Spani Falls. Again, in terms of community tourism continues to be an important aspect of the Ministry of Tourism, because obviously we want as many persons to benefit from tourism. You don't want persons going into communities and then the residents are not benefiting in any way, shape, or form. You can well imagine the reception the visitors are going to get. So a lot of work was done. We've actually provided support in the amount of $664,913 for many different things. One of them was the support of the Secretariat at the Dominica Community Tourism Association Through this initiative, they've been able to hire a manager, they've been able to hire a liaison officer, and very importantly, they've been able to hire a projects officer. So now persons in the various communities can now have access to an individual who can actually write projects so that they can get funding, be it through the Ministry of Tourism or through other agencies. We've done the construction of the trail at the Cold Soufriere site, construction of 200 meters leading to a spectacular bat cave. Many times persons say there's not sufficient to do in Dominica. So one of our roles is to also increase the number of sites. So you can now go to that bat cave and see thousands and well, those of us who are brave, and see thousands of bats leaving the cave or coming from the cave. And I'm hoping that the bat cave, that is close to Kalibishi. And I'm hoping soon that that might be the site that we can negotiate with maybe one of the movie companies to film the new Batman movie called Batman and Jason. We have we have rehabilitated the OPAC tourism facility in Vacas. And as some persons have said, we continue to support the yachting tourism, I call it. Why? Because, as I said before, a cruise visitor spends between $66 US per day in Dominica. A stayover visitor spends close to $400 US a day. But the cruisers who come on the yachts, they spend between $150 to $200 per day. And that is why I was surprised at the comment from the opposition leader saying, what is that about? Clearly, he does not understand. Take, for example, traditionally in Portsmouth, the peak yachty season is somewhere around March, April, where you have at most 75 to 100 yachts in the harbor. What we did, we worked with a new company, and pays the Ports of Yachting Association, and in February we were able to get over 100 yachts in Portsmouth. The great thing about that is that a yacht starts on one end of the island and it goes all the way to the other end. So even in Roseau, for the first time, many of you would have seen sometimes over 40 yachts in the Newtown Harbor. And when these individuals come to Dominica, they spend, they go on tours, they buy food, supplies, they buy, what do you call it, they buy even fuel, they purchase cooking gas, and maybe the Honourable Senator Dennis Charles might see an opportunity, Parliamentary Representative Dennis Charles, there might be an opportunity for providing small business opportunities for locals to provide the lovely, light cooking gas tanks to those persons on the boat. So there are many, many opportunities. As I said, in Portsmouth, the Pays Association, they received a contract, and now they've been able to make 20 additional moorings, which we put out in the sea, so that when visitors come, they have a set mooring to go to tie their boat to. And obviously, the guys go out, they make money from bringing in the people and tying them up. The persons rent the moorings, they make money from that. Persons take garbage and they dispose of it. So there's so many opportunities for persons to make money. We also constructed 10 picnic tables at Purple Turtle Beach, not only for the visitors, but also for us as Dominicans, because many of us enjoy those beaches. And when we go there, you have places to put your stuff. Beach enhancements projects were also undertaken in Salisbury, Tuckery, and tourism groups, where we provided them with benches and tables, so that, again, persons can have a better experience when they come to Dominica. Honourable Kelvin Darrow spoke about the stage that was put together in Layu, so that they can enhance and they can have more activities as they continue to promote the TTB Festival and other important events. Following the passage of Tropical Storm Erica, even in Grand Bay, the Geneva site, the Geneva Heritage Site, there was much debris placed all over the site, and we assisted in ensuring that that site could be cleared so that the interested tour operators can now begin to send visitors to those areas again so that Grand Bay can also get part of that pie. The Juridale Flower Show has great opportunities and great potential. We've also provided them with over $10,000 worth of seedlings so they can replant the entire area so that we can also have additional tours in those areas. We also want to thank the National Employment Program for providing them with additional help to ensure that the area is beautiful. So we're hoping that this year, when persons go to the Juridale Flower Show, they will see a total difference. Under urban renewal, a heavy concentration was placed on urban renewal. There was high on the agenda was the much needed rehabilitation and focusing on sidewalks and drains in our beautiful city. Many of you may have heard of what's his name, our patois comedian. Unfortunately, one day he was walking there and he actually broke his leg. So over 202 meters of sidewalk and drains were rehabilitated from Fort Young to Clifftop Training in the Victoria Street area, costing over $99,000. And again, now residents from Newtown, the yachties coming from Newtown have a much better experience in terms of walking to Roseau. And this also ties in with one of our plans of creating what we call walking tours. So persons can start from the bayfront, walk up to Fort Young, walk up to the library, walk across to the Parliament building, walk back down to the State House, walk to the Botanical Gardens. Again, all creating avenues for persons to generate income. So you can have tour guides now beginning to do walking tours to increase the income for the persons. We also work on the Kennedy Avenue. This project, we actually broke into 4 lots. Many persons are asking, why didn't we continue? But you must understand that everything that you do is based on budgets. So the budget that we had was for a particular section, and I'm happy that section has come out, and most of the praise that I get are actually from the ladies who see it has made a tremendous difference in terms of them walking with their high heels. In this particular project, we spent $229,000, where 218 meters of sidewalk and drains were rehabilitated. Over 40 persons were employed on this project, and this lasted about 6 weeks. We also did work on Hillsborough Street and Independence Street, where remedial work was done on the drains in that area. Many times, you will see the accumulation of water, and because we know how important it is to reduce rats, rodents, and also the proliferation of mosquitoes, we made sure that those roads were fixed, those gutters were fixed, to ensure that there would be a reduction of stagnant water. The Roseau Cleanup Program continues to work. I want to thank the staff, all the members of the team who are continue doing a fantastic job, and the dedication to the person, ensuring that the city of Roseau is much cleaner and much more palatable. Many persons who have traveled recently will actually say to you, you know something, Roseau actually does not smell the way it used to smell before. So not only this is better for our residents, but it also ties in with tourism, because when we looked at our scores from the Breer report, one of the things that we saw was that we were getting poor scores for the cleanliness of our city. So whilst we're taking care of our people, we're also taking care of the poor scores that we were getting from the Breer report. This project has over 20 persons who are employed, and we also work closely with the Roseau City Council and also the Solid Waste Department, because they also provide us with support in ensuring that the project works properly. In terms of the continued development of the city, I want to thank the Honourable Minister, Parliamentarian, Minister Blanchard, for a wonderful job that they have done on the new Roseau West Bridge. I mean, those of you who have actually been on the bridge, it's a beautiful bridge, and, you know, and it sets the stage for what is going to happen in the rest of the city, okay? So I look forward to the start of the Roseau Enhancement Program, which will then also move that beautification that you've seen from the West Bridge into the city of Roseau. Many of you who have children that attend the Convent High School, those of you who go to the Roseau Health Center, you would have realized that many times when you drove down that road, it was so narrow. It was actually dangerous because you had kids running around. It was very narrow. I want to really thank the citizens of Dominica who came from all over Dominica, not just Roseau Central, all over Dominica, and the Dominica Labour Party for doing a fantastic job in redoing that entire road. Today, when you drive on that road, it's so much more pleasant. You don't have to worry about the kids running around, and we look forward to the continuation of this project throughout the Botanical Gardens. Again, I want to also thank the Ministry of Public Works in terms of the street lights in Roseau. There were many areas that were dark. There were many areas where the street lights were I guess kind of all not bright enough. And a lot of work has been done to upgrade and change some of those lights, making it safer for those of us who are walking late at night. So many of us, we're in our cars, we don't really worry, we feel safe, but there are many persons who still have to walk through the streets of Roseau, and those bright lights make them feel a lot safer. In terms of marketing, many of you would have heard recently of the Tourism Awareness Month, but in terms of, normally it starts sometime in May, and we normally do the activity in May, but this year we changed it. We started 3 months in advance, and many of you would have heard of the campaign. Before we had the campaign, Tourism is Your Business, but we actually changed it so that it could resonate with the individual. So we started saying tourism is my business. And you can well imagine all of the videos that went out, and I think the staff of the Discover Dominica Authority did a fantastic job, to the point that even when we selected a certain group of individuals to do it, it touched so many people that others wanted to be part of it, including the teachers, and decided to impart that knowledge on the students. And we're looking forward to working with the schools so that tourism can be part of the regular curriculum, so that persons truly understand the importance of tourism, but more importantly, the importance of providing great customer service. We've done many TV campaigns with regards to this, and we know that tourism is our business. So we hope that residents should better appreciate the significance and the enabling environment of tourism. In terms of training, as the Prime Minister said, training is key. And in terms of tourism, there are 4 pillars: the awareness, the marketing, the access, and the experience. But in order to have a good experience, you must have proper trained individuals. And one of the things that the Ministry of Tourism has done is to reach out to as many stakeholders as possible. So we speak with them on a regular basis so that the decisions that we make are the best possible decisions. Even down to the communities, the things that we are doing in the communities, it is not just our ideas, it is ideas coming from the people. That's where you have much better buy-in, and you have a much better appreciation for what is actually done at the end of the day. With regards to training, significant training has been done with the taxi drivers, and soon we realized that we're going to have a slight shortfall in terms of taxi drivers, so additional training will be done to ensure those persons are done. Recently, the taxi drivers also did a refresher course where they had someone from the Caribbean Tourism Organization, and I am really proud of those taxi drivers. Can you imagine a taxi driver sitting down for 5 days in a training session? And over 50 of them actually did that. So we're hoping that those taxi drivers who are now committed will now impact that knowledge onto the other members so that we can provide the best possible service. The same thing was done in terms of what we call our frontline vendors, hairdressers, Over 73 of them were trained recently at the State College. Again, to ensure that when persons come in, they understand what is service and they can provide the best possible service to them. In terms of tour guides, again, one of the things that we started doing, and that is why our scores have begun to increase. So even recently, when the representatives from the ministry, from the Discover Dominica Authority went to the various cruise conferences, the results and the scores that we get from each ship have begun to increase. Why is this important? Because remember, when the cruise executives are going to make a decision to come to Dominica, they're looking at really and truly two things. How good is that customer experience? Is my customer going to have a fantastic time and want to come back there? And also, it's a business, so they're also looking at their bottom line. How much money are we going to make when we come to Dominica? So we continue to train, and we've also realized too that the tours that have tour guides on board, the customers give the best scores for those. So we are pushing to ensure that every single vehicle that leaves the port facility will need to have a tour guide on board. But there's a challenge. Many times every year you have to persons leave the business. So we are continuously training, and there will soon be new training for tour guides. So we ask persons to go to the Discover Dominica Authority and register for the new training sessions that will come very soon. In terms of training, we also did some additional stuff in terms of certification. There's something called the CVQ. What we have done, we realize again that we need to train our persons. So we've actually trained we've trained 5 master trainers. Why train 5 master trainers? It means that once these master trainers have the curriculum, they can now train the persons in Dominica. And just recently, 12 persons graduated with their CVQ certificate. And it's not just a regular certificate, it's a really serious certificate. A certificate that you can take to any particular island and it'll be properly recognized. However, I want as many persons to do it, but our role is to drive as much business to Dominica so that the persons who are trained will stay in Dominica and not go anywhere else. One of the things that we've also done recently, you'd have heard of a couple traffic accidents, and any one traffic accident is going to have a very catastrophic response. One of the things that we also have, we have a crisis management team. And what that team does in the event of any accident, it is initiated and we take control of as many things as possible. So many of you would have heard of the accident in Antrim. But again, everything was put in place, the machinery was put in place to the point that although you heard lots of irrelevant talking on social media and on the radio stations, the most important thing at that time is the livelihood of the individuals and to ensure that the family members are notified and taken care of. For that same event, unfortunately, we received glowing reviews from the ships, okay, to say that we did a fantastic job and that we need to continue this model. So again, to all the members of the crisis management team, I want to say thank you very much. But again, you can't stop accidents, but what you can do is to reduce the risk. So what we've also implemented recently is that all buses must do a mechanical check a month before the season opens and also in January. Why? We're just trying to reduce the risk of accidents. In addition to that, what we've also done is that we also have what I call spot checks. So any vehicle that the members of the Discover Dominica Authority sees, you see oil leaking, or you see some really bad tire, or you see something wrong, or somebody makes a complaint, we can actually send them to a proper mechanical shop where we receive a report to ensure that the livelihood of our Dominicans and also the visitors are paramount. Because remember, when a vehicle has an accident, it's not just the visitors who get injured, it's the driver gets injured, it means the tour guide gets injured. And if that bus is used for other hiring purposes, it means our local persons can get injured. So what we're doing is to try our best to reduce accidents so that we don't get those negative results. In terms of properties, as I said before, there's 218 properties, of which 80 are registered with the Discover Dominica, and 21, I said, were actually certified. So again, we had the consultations with the stakeholders. The stakeholders said, you know something, we need some additional help. You're bringing in these larger companies who will not necessarily compete with us because they're at a much different price point. But we want to have the opportunity to upgrade our properties. We want to have the opportunity to expand on what we have. So through the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, they sent out questionnaires to their members asking what did they need and what are all the requirements. So based on these responses and based on their recommendations, the government of Dominica approved practically 98% of their requests. One request we could not put in place was that we could not refinance loans. And I don't think anybody truly expects us to refinance loans, because it would mean you'd have to refinance the entire portfolio of all the loans of hotels in all the different banks. What would happen to all of these other banks? What would happen to the persons working in those other banks? Okay, so what we did was to provide that facility for the individuals through the Citizen by Citizenship program. And I can say to you that, to the best of my knowledge, 6 persons have actually applied to the program. 3 persons have been successful, and $2.5 million has been dispersed under that program. So I really urge other persons in the hotel business to look at the statistics, get the statistics to show that we are moving in the right direction, and prepare to take the chance. Business is all about risk, but business is about risk based on particular information. So if Dominica is trending in the right direction, if our numbers were flat, if our numbers were going down, obviously one would not want to take a loan. But if you are moving in the right direction, as we are all aware, the government of Dominica in 2014, the marketing budget was $4 million. Today, in the Parliament papers, our marketing budget
You have 5 minutes left.
Our marketing budget is being increased to $12 million. A 200% increase. Yeah, I'll need about 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Honourable Minister be given an additional 5 minutes to complete his
10.
presentation.
10.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Honourable Minister be given an additional 10 minutes to complete his presentation.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
So, Madam Speaker.
Can I put it to the House? It has been moved and seconded that the member be given a further 10 minutes to complete his contribution. That's not your prerogative, you know, my friend. I'll start again. It has been moved and seconded that the member be given a further 10 minutes to complete his contribution. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Continue, please.
Madam Speaker, we continue to put things in place. We are now members of CLEAR, which is the largest cruise organization, which allows us to interface with as many of the travel operators all over the world, again, to ensure that persons are more aware of Dominica. As I said recently also, we are also platinum members of the Florida Cruise Association. Again, the CEO, Michelle Page, will be here on Monday, and we hope to have discussions with her and the public sector and stakeholders of the cruise business to ensure that we are all aligned and moving in the right direction. Much has been done in terms of promoting Dominica. Just for example, in the United Kingdom, a total of 29 print and 13 online articles were published in the United Kingdom. These stories had a circulation of, I figure it's so large I can't even say it, 421 million impressions. So there's a lot that we're doing, again, to ensure that people are more aware of Dominica. In the United States, North America, over 50 articles have been published with a combined media impression of $228 million. So a lot is being done in all different areas, including Germany, France, and we've been receiving many accolades. Dominica was named to the Ethical Destinations list of Ethical Traveler for the periods 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2012, and 2011. So there are a lot of things that we're doing to ensure that people are more aware of Dominica. Sometimes persons say they have no idea where Dominica is, but we continue to do that. 5 companies obtained film permits for the period, again, shooting films in Dominica, and crews originated from the United States, Guadeloupe, Dominica, and France. In terms of our budget for this year, as I mentioned, our budget has moved from $4 million to $8 million, which will give us the ammunition, again, to proper market the destination. You must have a proper message for persons to want to come to the beautiful country of Dominica. And I want to thank the Honourable Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, and also all my cabinet colleagues for having the confidence in the Ministry of Tourism and for approving these amounts which are in line with the Tourism Master Plan to allow persons in Dominica to benefit as much as possible. Madam Speaker, I'm just trying to jump through because I have a lot of stuff. In terms of tourism site enhancement this year, we have $1.4 million, which will be spent to upgrade and do a lot of work in the various areas, including the Emerald Pool, including Milton Falls, including the Witch's Hut in the Indian River. As many of you know, the Pirates of the Caribbean was filmed there, so much work will be done to ensure that these areas are upgraded. Wharton Waven, some more work will be done there. Tito Gorge, the parking area and the parking lot. One of the things that we're going to do, sometimes you see many tourists lost around the city. We're going to have directional signs with proper maps that will say you are here, and it'll take you to the next side. On the urban renewal, $1 million we allocated towards the beautification and the enhancement of Roseau. Work will be done on the People's Park in collaboration with the Ministry of Forestry, the Old Market Plaza, the continuation of the Roseau Cleanup Program, the Bayfront. As you know, it is a little bit, the weather has taken its toll on it, so we will be doing some work to beautify it. The beautification of some of the pedestrian streets in Roseau, additional work in Lago. And as I said before, in terms of the yachty tourism, we're going to be doing work in Tukari, where we'll be redoing the jetty and also providing some moorings in that area. Additional moorings in Portsmouth. We're going to be providing moorings, 10 moorings in Mero, and also a jetty. We're also going to be providing moorings and a small jetty in Newtown and also in Soufriere. Again, it's to try to diversify where persons go and to make it much better for the yachties. So if they come from the south, they can stop in Scotshead, and as they go along, they can stop. And what that will do, it will allow the money to spread throughout the length and breadth of Dominica. In terms of human resource, as we've said, we're also working with the Dominica State College. Many of us know that the State College has an associate program, but many times the individuals who work in the hotels, they don't really want to do all of that. So the State College is also changing their program so that you can actually do specific courses from that program to ensure that you have the requirement skills for the workplace. And we are working directly with the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, and these are some of the things that they're saying, and we're working directly with them. Again, we're not just doing these things we're not just doing these things just like that. We are doing it with the proper consultation with our stakeholders. Very, very importantly, one of the challenges we have is our access, and as was articulated earlier, we have to ensure that after we've done all of this marketing, we can further improve how persons come to Dominica. And many of you are aware that Norwegian Airlines has a new schedule with additional flights coming to Dominica, and many persons have taken advantage of that. Flights as low as 79 US from Guadeloupe, Martinique to the United States. But when you come in, there are no direct flights to take you to Dominica. So what has happened many times, you have to overnight or you have to take the ferry to come to Dominica. So we are working with Air Antilles to ensure that when these new flights start, we can have direct flights from there to Dominica so that you no longer have to overnight. And just recently, Air France has also stated that they will be flying into Guadeloupe and Martinique from Atlanta, which means additional access into those islands. So what we are doing, until we build our international airport, we are using everybody else's international airports as our airports. In terms of the South, we are happy that TIA Airlines is also going to begin, I think they've begun a charter service, and by October they'll also provide additional service from Honourable International Airport. And many persons say, but what is so special about Honourable International Airport? But those of you who don't know, the Honourable International Airport provides almost as many international flights as Barbados. So if we can give persons additional choices, it means it'll be a lot easier to come to Dominica. We are also in discussions, and as the Prime Minister has clearly articulated, and many times persons say, well, what are you going to do when the international airport starts? How are you going to bring in all the flights? But I think we must start from now. And that is why if we can bring in a much smaller aircraft into Dominica, and we know that it can land in Dominica, you can bring in a 75-seater or a 100-seater. So we are in discussions with the providers of such service so that by next year we can have international, I'm not sure if you want to call it international flights, but you'll be able to take a flight from the USA direct into Dominica. Again, and this is very important because what this does, it makes it much more easier for persons to come into the beautiful country of Dominica. So we are working on that, and we are confident that we will be able to achieve these goals in the very short future. I want to also thank the other ministries for some of the interventions. In terms of roads, the York Valley to Poncassi, which will be worked on, Coptol to Mont Prosper, Egliston, the Egliston Road, Cabanis retaining wall. The Mont Bruce is very important for us because many of our visitors go to the Mont Bruce area, and much work is being done.
You have 1 minute left.
Thank you. So, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Tourism is very committed towards tourism. We are very committed towards our city. But I also want to say a couple of things. I want to thank all the residents of Roseau for the continuous support that they have given. As I go through the city, there's so much that I see that has been left undone, and I'm not sure what the PAL rep for the area has been doing. I want to also thank the Ministry of Commerce for all the work that they have done with regards to the small business, with the small business grants. 91, Madam Speaker, they're disturbing me, I can't even hear myself. So I want to thank the Ministry of Commerce for granting 91 small business loans, grants, to residents of the city amounting to over $734,000.
Your time is up.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much.